No, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to Smack It Raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the number one wrestling podcast on places where you can find people having sex on the internet, the Smackin It Raw podcast. I am your host, the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Matt Ritter, and my co-hosts couldn't make it this week. Miss Katie Kinsey Bay is at her sister's wedding, or was at her sister's wedding, so she was not able to make it. Our boy Vince Delgado is on his honeymoon still, but I sent out the bad signal, and I got responses from some of my favorite people in podcasting. This is a huge collaboration, ladies and gentlemen, from the Get Show podcast. It is Vicente Alejandro Delgado Estrada. From the Wrestling Bros podcast, it is our boy Bakley, my favorite ginger, no offense to Jaxbo, and purveyor of botched spots and chair shots, and creator of Rivet City Radio. He is host, along with our boy Jaxbo, of Wrestling News at 420, and today, technically in my time zone, is still 420. He is a chef by trade and mark by choice, the Will Gray.
I'm just glad to be here.
Will got the longest intro out of all of us.
Yeah,
tell us who you like the most, Matt, without telling us who you like the most. If
Vince had shown up, he would have gotten Pornhub Poppy and Daddy Delgado, the Salt and Spitter Swallow. He would have got all that, but Vince isn't here. But I'm happy to have you here, Mr. Delgado Estrada. I appreciate you showing up. 1/8 of the Get Yo podcast.
Thank you. Me siento muy invitado.
Reek also might be swinging through. So
while he swings his thing through,
yeah, he might swing his thing through. A little bit of that White Cave Wrestling love today as well.
Sounds about right.
How you guys doing? Everyone good?
Chilling. Still
Enjoying
celebrating Matt's birthday, as you can see in the background.
I appreciate that. Speaking of my birthday, since we're here, Katie sent me this, which she got signed at Mania from the Don.
Nice.
My boy Tony D.
Love it.
You can't see it, and I'm not going to get up to get it, but directly behind me, this way. There you go. No, there we go. That shelf back there, there's a tiny little plush Undertaker that I received from the Will Gray and Allison. And right here in frame, also,
there it is,
from the Will Gray and Allison,
nice.
Hanging out with me. Yeah, Vince never ran me up that Smackin It Raw sign. I still have the Undertaker flag that I got from Bill that I need to find a spot for. And since Vince didn't give me that Smackin It Raw sign, it might just go right there on the door where I was going to put the Smackin It Raw sign. So, because Vince bitched at me about how we need to spend time together and we need to see each other, and then never got a hold of me to make plans to do that before my birthday / his wedding. So,
it got pretty hectic towards the
Don't
last.
Speak for Vince, Listen. Mr. Delgado Estrada, you don't need to speak for Vince. I'll deal with him next week when he returns.
Okay, fair enough. But from what I understand, he got sick days before his wedding and barely slightly recovered the day of. So he has excuses that I think are a little valid.
Well, you need to put yours on your set.
What do I need to put on my set? My Dr. Pepper bottle? Oh, it's downstairs. Yeah.
Allison, get it for him.
So, but with all that said, I want to thank everyone who's joining us live, whether you're joining us at twitch.tv, which you almost weren't today, World, where if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you have Prime Gaming. If you have Prime Gaming, you get a free sub every month that you can give to your favorite Twitch streamer. Of course, if you're watching me, it should be me, but we have friends who stream live on Twitch that you guys should go check out. Katie's not here, but go check out the She Leads Showcase over on Twitch. Will is here. Rivet City Radio is an amazing place with a bunch of variety shows and different takes on wrestling and different podcasts all on the network you guys can go check out. How are those wrestling bros doing with Twitch?
Doing pretty good. New to it. Haven't used it too much until now. So,
You guys accepting subs yet?
not yet.
Okay. Well, you guys need to go follow them so that they can accept subs because gingers need subs. They don't have souls. They need subs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't have one, so might as well get the other.
Exactly. Go help our boy out. And Mo's awesome too. Mo unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. But go check them out in their show. It's fantastic. I stop by as much as I can, show support. As I always tell you guys, Bakley is the one that keeps me up to date on everything that happens outside of WWE and AEW in my DMs. So I appreciate him because now I know what happened in Rebellion. I know everything that the Great Okan does, and unfortunately, everything that Matt does or doesn't do. Ladies and gentlemen, from Young Kings Wrestling, he is the only BBC with a PhD, Greek Baker, BBC in the building.
What's up, y'all?
What's going on, man?
We were just plugging stuff like Twitch. Now we're at YouTube, youtube.com/Creation World, where, if Will's paying attention,
I'm paying attention. I got you.
if you like, subscribe, and comment, what does that do?
It boosts the algorithm and it helps find new listeners.
All right, who wants to call me a whore for Katie? Vince? Okay. Vince, why is that important to me?
Because you're a whore, Matthew.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a whore. I'm a whore for your likes, for your comments, for your attention, for your entertainment. Willing to do whatever it takes to get that like, that comment, that subscribe, but most importantly, to get you to flick the bean while watching us. Hit that notification bell. Get notified every time we go live, whether it is Fridays at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern for the Creation Conversation. Every Saturday at 10 Central, 11 p.m. Eastern for Smackin It Raw, and every other Sunday, including next Sunday, 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern for Getting Off. Now, mind you, if you guys tune in for Smackin It Raw next week, we are going an hour early. We have some friends on from the Atlantic time zone or Pacific time zone, whatever the one is that's 2 hours ahead of us.
That's the Atlantic time zone.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the one way up there north in Canada. That
Who
one.
the fuck do you got coming on from Newfoundland?
Wrestle with the Truth.
Oh, BC Hunter in there. Okay.
Yep.
Only people who live there.
I don't know if Jay's coming, but I know BC Hunter's coming. So
Nice.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack that. I was like, who the
that's
fuck
fine.
lives there?
That's fine.
BC Hunter and Jay are the only two people who live in Newfoundland.
No, I actually think Willow was on the same time zone as them as well. So
Really?
Raven on. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we went early again too. Anytime we have someone from Canada, we try and go a little early for them to accommodate because you never know what time zone they fall in. So, but
except for the Wallop boys, we just gotta do it regular time with them.
Well, that's because they're used to staying up late with us. They're good.
And Ryland's
They don't
just raw dogs everything.
Ryland raw dogs everything. All right. Well, I think I've sufficiently plugged everything. Katie did send me news and rumors because she does not miss a week. So let's see what we got here. Logan Paul and Nina Agdal are expecting their first child together in the fall.
Cool. Okay.
Yes,
Hey,
Congrats to them.
Roman Reigns is currently filming a new movie called Good Fortune. It's a heist comedy movie featuring Keanu Reeves, Seth Rogen, Keke Palmer, and of course, Roman Reigns.
Explains why he's away.
Yep.
Yeah, we've seen the snapshots from it. Looks like
He's
it's probably
currently
gonna be cool.
battling cancer as well. which will clarified for me during WrestleMania weekend as to how that's possible.
Yeah.
He talked about it in his presser.
Yes, he's battling cancer. No, he's not taking IV chemo multiple times a week right now. He's on an oral chemo. That's all. And I'm not taking away, when I say that's all, my oral chemo fucking wrecked me. So what he's doing with it is amazing. But a lot of people have this misconception. I said it in my video. They think he's going to the hospital and getting on IVs and then like going and wrestling 30 and 45-minute matches. And that's not what's happening. You know, I'm not taking away from what he's doing, but some people think that when everybody's on chemo, they assume that they're like going in and getting a port or like a pick line and all of that. And that's not what's happening.
That's just kind of like what you see in like media, how they portray cancer treatments, like Breaking Bad and other like medical shows. That's usually how they portray it. So people that don't know, they just assume that's true.
Allison, are you asking if our tribal chief knows how to be funny? Suffering succotash, of course he does.
Ooh.
Are you feeling?
How long has he been taking the medicine for, or whatever he is taking?
He still does. He still does regularly.
What Will explain to
the
me
whole
is,
time?
I was just saying, what Will explain to me is he has the type of leukemia that never actually goes away. He will live with it his entire life, and he will have flare-ups like Vince does with herpes, but only on occasion. And when he does, then, you know, medication, so on and so forth, time off from wrestling, stuff like that.
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Estrada.
See.
What's the matter?
Didn't expect to hear that from you. Like, do you have inside information?
Do you personally know Vicente Delgado? Do you know him personally?
Yes.
Do you know him more personally than I do? Because I know all about his herpes and his flare-ups.
Are you the one that caused them?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm the person he confided in about them when they started happening, though.
Okay, cool.
Confidant, consigliere, whatever you want to call me.
Gotcha. Should we break kayfabe for Reek because he seems?
Oh yeah, so you weren't here for the pre-show. Seeing as Vince wasn't supposed to be here, he's supposed to still be on his honeymoon, and then he let us in on a whole debacle of things that happened with names and things on the wedding, where they called Melissa by the wrong name, they were calling him by the wrong last name. We suggested that he should have just taken Melissa's last name, which is Estrada. I suggested when he gets all his names changed, he should either go by Vicente Armando Delgado Estrada or Vicente Alejandro Delgado Estrada. He turned both ideas down. He's not adding a middle name, but I think it would be dope, right? See, Rick's same page.
What's wrong with you, bruh?
So when I started the show, I said that my co-hosts Vince and Katie couldn't be here, but I sent out, the bat signal, and all of my favorite podcasters answered the call. So from the Get Yo podcast, we have Vicente Armando Delgado Estrada, and then
I like Alejandro better.
Alejandro. We can do Alejandro. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Vicente Alejandro Delgado Estrada. Come on.
Like, bruh. First off.
We should just title that the episode. The episode is episode 338, Vicente Alejandro Delgado Estrada.
I'm about to say, like, number one, first and foremost,
yes,
you will have the sexiest name in podcasting, right? And then,
that could be a title.
And then, God forbid, right? God forbid you ever get divorced, you will never be single again with that name. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying.
I will be excited to announce your full name, and I won't even call you Vince. I won't, Vicente. I'll do the whole thing.
Oh man.
I'm just an advocate. I'm just throwing it out here.
Listen, man, I still got a bone to pick with you, man. You out here green lighting like competitions for shit I shouldn't be competing for. Like,
listen, we've been through this. If the people want it, I can't go against that.
Reek is the Nick Aldis of the Pornhub Poppy race, all right?
Oh my god.
You heard the man.
Oh man.
Heard the man.
That's crazy. That's crazy. What were we talking about before this?
Speaking of sexy names, Carlos Cabrera is All Elite on commentary.
Oh, that's cute.
Ruby Soho announces pregnancy to Angelo on Rampage, so it's up to us if we want to,
I thought this shit was fake.
No, if you check out Last Word on Sports, there's a great article written that quotes some of the sources as to how we know it's not fake. It was written by a great author, D. Will Gray.
No, I mean, like before the announcement, like I thought like this thing was just like a storyline on screen thing. Like
it was. And then they actually started dating and seeing each other real life. And then she, when a man loves a woman,
Angelo Parker strikes me as the kind of guy that doesn't like condoms. I'm just saying. I look at the guy and I say he doesn't like condoms.
I would say probably not. But
okay.
Yeah.
So you say you can look at a man and you can tell whether or not they like condoms.
I didn't say I can look at every single man to determine whether they like condoms or not.
He's worried about his hair.
First off, I'm going to sit here and say that no man in this chat likes condoms. I'm just saying Angelo looks like a guy who doesn't use condoms.
Okay.
I can look at a guy, not every guy, but a guy, and be like, you don't use condoms.
Matt,
certain people
Matt,
have that.
Okay.
Matt.
Can you do that in this chat?
Yeah. Do I use condoms? Matt, do I use condoms?
Hell no.
Why do you say that, Reek?
I can say that because I know you by now, Will. It's like if you've had a conversation with Will for at least 24 hours, you know that man does not put plastic on. Like it's
latex,
go time
latex
all the time. Like my guy has experienced too much in life to be like, yo, let me strap this on really quick. Nah, call that.
Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate that. I feel more hyped because of that, Reek. Thank you.
I was also going to say, Will, like, I feel like you use and I don't know how it works, but somehow I feel like you use the excuse that you're Jewish, so you can't wear condoms somehow. Like it goes against religion, even though you cook and eat pork and you don't care. You don't tell them that. You're just like, I can't wear condoms because I'm Jewish. And I don't blame you. I would too.
See, the problem is immediately I'm just like, yo, do you want to see my space laser? And then bam, they're immediately pregnant. So like I have to tone it back just because of how awesome I am.
There you go. Can't argue with it.
Matt's like, I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah. So, Freddie Prinze Jr. starting to look for networks for his wrestling promotion, going to be Lucha Underground inspired. The whole time I'm just thinking, like, how is Allison? Anyway, I not a discussion we need to have. We'll talk.
She has her own space laser.
I'm about to say she's in the chat. So
yeah. Again,
ask away.
We got Freddie Prinze Jr. looking for networks for his Lucha Underground inspired wrestling promotion. Are we excited for this?
No, listen. Can we just be real? This is gonna be mid as hell. It is. Like, and it's no disrespect to Freddie. You know, he is a genuine, real fan, and you know, he worked as a writer, but as the time that he was a writer, the content wasn't nearly that great. So I don't have that much faith. Maybe I'm wrong, but on the surface, on his head right now, I'm not gonna see it. I'm sorry.
I'm intrigued, but I'm middle in my expectations to exactly what he said. It's probably gonna be some sort of indie promotion at best. So if it does good there, then good for him.
Here's me. Put your tinfoil hat for a moment. Vince McMahon, as of September, when everything closes, will own 0% of TKO and WWE. And on January 1, all of his non-competes will be up. What if Vince McMahon financially backs Freddie Prinze Jr.?
I'm laughing because
I don't rule it out.
I'm laughing because I saw a quote earlier. Apparently, Conrad Thompson was talking about it, saying that by next Mania, Vince will be in the wrestling business again?
I say between January and April, he'll be actively involved with another promotion because all of his non-competes are up the first week of January.
Could you imagine if Vince bought the NWA and brought it back to compete with WWE?
That'd be
Lord help us all.
That would be like the one that would make the most sense.
The only way Vince would buy the NWA, though, and I know this because I'm familiar with the product, Billy's going to have to make a lot of money off that sell because right now it's not about money because it's a passion project for him because he's a lifelong wrestling fan. He's not in it to make money per se. He's in it to keep the NWA name running. Is it helpful that they're making a profit? Yes, absolutely. But it's a passion project. For him to sell the rights and everything that goes along with it, he's going to have to make more than what he sold it or for what he bought it for.
PPW, Prison Pro Wrestling.
PPW.
It's what should be happening. But we know how people with money skate around shit. So
yeah.
Hopefully that's true.
I mean, Diddy's been on his private island for the better part of a month. And look it up. His private jet flew to his island and has not left since it got there.
Damn right.
I hate that we have to talk about this, but the Oklahoma Athletic Commission warned AEW about letting Nyla Rose compete last year because she is transgender. They were told not to do it again or punitive action will be taken. TK came out in support of Nyla Rose and said, if the locker room can embrace Nyla, the commission can too. And he doesn't plan on, he didn't necessarily say he wasn't going to not book her in Oklahoma, but he didn't come out and say that he would book her in Oklahoma. He just, she is part of the roster and should need be, it is what it is. I saw a lot of stuff, people saying that she lied about her gender on her paperwork and this and that. Fucking transgender bullshit shitstorm. As always.
I did a little bit of research into it. The people who are saying she lied about her gender, she put female because that's what she identifies at. They said she lied about her gender by putting female.
Right.
You see the gray area as to how that could be a lie. This athletic commission in Oklahoma did backtrack a little bit when they had the backlash and they were like, we're looking to amend the rules based on different sports because wrestling is very different because the way it's written is there's not to be any male versus woman intergender combat sports in the state of Oklahoma at all. And because of the nature of this, you see where it automatically, there's a whole lot of gray, murky water here. The athletic commission in Oklahoma is saying they want to help remove some of that. So it's a little bit more clear specifically in the wrestling arena. And it was a little bit too late because everybody else is like, you know what? Fuck Oklahoma. Indie promotions started pulling out of bookings and stuff in the state already. So,
yeah,
it's wrestling.
It is wrestling.
We're not talking about boxing or MMA or any real high it's competition. But we're not talking about somebody getting hurt or somebody being getting an unfair advantage. It's wrestling. They're working together. Can we grow up?
So I'm not going to have this debate because the debate could take the whole episode. I will say, in my personal opinion, at least for what I enjoy, not talking indies and everything like that, but at least for what I enjoy, if the outcome is predetermined, it is not a sport to me. It is a television show, and it's a television show full of highly athletic competitors and live action stunts that I fucking love. And I'm not calling them. I'm not taking away their athleticism, their skill, or their ability. That is what I love about pro wrestling, along with the storytelling. But to me, it's not a quote unquote sport because the outcome is predetermined. That is just me, and I don't feel like it should fall under sports rules because of that. It's a TV show.
Yeah. 100%.
For the most part. Again, indies, obviously not a TV show, different, but also in the same vein, predetermined outcomes, personally to me, not the same thing. Neither here nor there. Last two bits of news, and then we can get into our spits and swallows. Seth had surgery on his meniscus on Tuesday, so we won't be seeing him for a minute.
Real MVP. God damn.
They showed like a video of him from the side doing the curb stomp, and like he lands on it like a certain way where his like leg bends so far to the right, kind of gruesome.
Yeah,
You knew at the end of Mania, like he couldn't
Yeah.
stand up. He could not stand up. People was helping him out to walk. Something was really wrong.
The fact that he was even able to put on such a good match with Drew night 2, and then the match he did put on night 1 is just a testament to this man's like abilities. Just
Right.
sheer will too. Just like goddamn.
Yeah, you don't want to win to miss WrestleMania, so he was ready to do whatever he had to
Yeah.
try and make sure that he went through both matches without having to cut it short.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No. Couldn't be me. My allergies act up and then I call off for work. I can't do it. Like I would not do it.
Last but not least, in a huge blow to Young Kings Wrestling, Jinder Mahal, Xia Li, Zion Quinn, Veer, and Sangha have all been released from their WWE contracts.
Oh, I didn't know about Veer and Sangha.
So Veer and Sangha have actually been fairly vocal. I think Sangha went on and posted a video talking about how WWE wants to get all of this, the television views and the YouTube views and everything in India, yet they're not pushing, promoting, or doing anything with Indian superstars. He said, currently, right now, there are no Indian superstars on the roster. Now that him, Jinder, and Veer are gone. We do know that Jinder went on Twitter, I think, and said he quit.
Yeah.
So released from their contract, whether it was because they wanted to be or other reasons. Yeah.
For the record, that's a huge blow to TC. I could give two shits if Jinder's
Well, no, hold on. Jinder's gone
gone.
for TC. Xia Li is gone for you, me, and Katie.
You're right. You're right. I rescind that. You're absolutely right.
I can
I
see
said this-
Zaya showing up
That
in
was a sad
TNA.
moment.
Hmm.
I'll take it.
I said this months ago. I thought it was random that they brought Jinder back for the whole thing with the Seth Rollins, and then he disappeared again. And I was like, it made no sense. And everybody gave me shit for it. And here he is, a couple months later, released.
Yep.
Not doing a damn thing other than working main event after he wrestled Seth Rollins. And then he did that thing with The Rock. Great. I liked that segment, but it's like, it was so random, out of nowhere, and then boom, gone again.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, from my feelings aside, I really didn't have a feeling about this because it's not like they didn't get opportunities. They were on TV. They weren't like every single week, but you saw them. You saw Jinder. You saw Indushare. Xia Li and Zion Quinn kind of fell off, but it's like you put you out there. You got your opportunity. It didn't hit, so we let you go on your way. Real simple.
So
Here's the question: you got the people that were released. What does Odyssey Jones have on Triple H? Because he's still employed, and he got drafted to Raw, and he's been working SmackDown dark matches.
He got drafted.
no, he didn't get
How many
drafted to
years
Raw.
ago?
He got drafted as a free agent. He got left as a free agent.
He got drafted to Raw and then never appeared, just like Zion got drafted to SmackDown, and I think only appeared once.
He got drafted
the
to Raw
more-
like 2 drafts ago.
Yeah, I think the more important question is where our Odyssey is coming to Raw. Like we had the Veers coming to Raw. Like where is that? So we can make the jokes about how he got lost on his way there.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was a Vince thing because, I mean, dude was coming for 6 months and
He was.
nobody got pregnant, so that's a little odd.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a space laser. What you got, Will?
WWE does rolling 90-day contracts. So we're starting Q2 now. So everybody who's in Q1 that was under a contract that didn't turn a profit or wasn't a big return on investment, that's when WWE does their cuts. So you'll see it the first month of quarter 2. You'll see it the first month of quarter 3. You'll see it the first month of quarter 4. You'll see mandatory cuts done, especially now that TK owns the company, because it's not just WWE reporting to WWE. WWE reports to TKO, and TKO reports to Endeavor, and it goes all the way up the corporate chain now. So it's not just Vince and Triple H and Nick Khan. It's Nick Khan and Triple H report to TKO, who report to Ari Emanuel. It's a lot now compared to where it was a year ago, 2 years ago.
And UFC does the same thing with Dana, where he totally had to completely redo how they did cuts, and they do it all the time. Like every couple months, they try and do cuts because of all the new people that they're trying to bring in. And then with the NIL, and then the way that WWE's trying to redo NXT and how they bring people in, I'm not surprised that that's how they're doing it now.
What's going on, Ivan? So any final thoughts on any of that news, rumors, stuff we had going on?
In terms of for like the cuts and the releases, at the time I just thought it was just 3: Zion Quinn, Zia Lee, and Jinder Mahal. Now you add Veer and Sangha and Deshir into it. It's 5 individuals compared to like a long list they used to be before. And as like it pains me to say this because I love Jinder, but he wasn't really being used. Neither was Zia. Zion Quinn, like I never really saw much potential in him. Maybe once he comes back, maybe he'll be able to find his niche somewhere else. But and the sheer not being used, so it's like these are talents that aren't really being used. What do you do when you're not really using something? You let it just kind of let it go. You cut things loose. Like I have a lot of apps on my phone, and then once I don't use an app for like a 6-month period, I remove it from my phone. It'll be okay. They'll be okay. It could have been worse, and it's not as bad as it used to be.
Well, fuck! If I knew that, I would have sent you your pink slip on your wedding day.
I feel like they could have. I feel like they messed up Zia Lee, how they used her under Vince. All the start-stop like scenarios with her. She started to get stuff going, and then boom, disappeared again.
Yeah, Zia Lee definitely is one that I felt like didn't get a fair shake. But like I mentioned, I would love to see her in Impact. I think she'd be a great addition to the Knockouts roster.
Yeah.
She might actually thrive there. She might actually be used.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
What's going on, Just? Thanks for swinging by. All right. It is that time, ladies and gentlemen, to do what we do here and spit or swallow. Bakley, I think it has been the longest that, or you have been the longest away from this show. So we are going to start with you. Daniel Bakley, spit or swallow.
I'm going to start with the Liv Morgan revenge tour. I'm going to swallow that. I know everything going on with Mommy with that injury. We don't know exactly how it happened. Apparently, it was just a freak accident when they were filming that backstage segment. But I kind of like where it's going because you can add a little bit of different development to that rivalry. Like she had to give up the title, and then Liv Morgan comes out, kind of laughs at her. They had to be spread apart, and Rhea says that she's coming for her when she comes back. And I kind of hope that this battle royal they're doing on Monday to determine the new champion, I hope it's Liv, because you can definitely dig deeper into this if she is the champion when Ripley comes back. And then I kind of feel like everything else going on with the Judgment Day, that she can kind of fuck everything up with them and be part of the reason why they break up in the future. You have a Priest who's already turning kind of babyface, Finn who's acting more heelish than usual. But then if you remember when Finn turned heel and joined the group, he was aligned with Liv Morgan at the time. So I thought that would be cool if she kind of points him in that direction, and that's how you get like the breakup of the group.
I'm split on this because obviously I'm spitting the fact that Rhea got injured and had to relinquish her title. You know, she just had that big Mania win. It's sad. However, her coming out, them molding it into the story of Liv's revenge tour, Liv pointing out, like, how are you going to sit here and be mad after you're the one that injured me? I came back at you. I came to get my lick back. You put me on the shelf. I put you on the shelf. It's 1-for-1. It is what it is. Like, don't sit here and act like I did anything more than you did. So I enjoy the story aspect of it. The real life aspect of Rhea being injured and ending this historic run kind of sucks.
I think it might make her even hotter when she comes back. I think that's what's going to get people more invested.
She's definitely going to add that Triple H pop when he returned from his injury in Madison Square Garden. It's going to be nuclear. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, yeah. We got 2 mega baby faces coming back eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm spitting actually the Liv revenge tour because of. But this is my thing. Everything that you just pointed out that could potentially happen does not fit the character that Liv Morgan is. It doesn't. Like, if you're talking about a monster heel, if you're talking about a Nia Jax or somebody like that, I got you. Liv, she is not, to me, she's not built like that. The whole, what was it, Queen of Extreme thing she was trying to do, I think, at one point in time when she was feuding with Ronda. Okay, that I can get behind. But this whole, I'm going to come back and I'm going to cause all this chaos and I took Rhea down and now I'm going to take this person down. I'm going to win the world title. I don't think she should win the world title. If anybody wins the world title, it better be Shayna Baszler, and I don't want to hear a damn word about it. I have been on that train. I'm not getting off it. There is no better time than now. Opportunity struck. Do the right thing. But, yeah, as far as Liv Morgan goes, and again, this is not to knock her. I think this is just one of those things where it's like, it looks like they're trying to do with her, I don't think that's going to work. But, we just kind of stay in the lane for her. Like,
how long have you been riding the Queen of Spades train, Reek?
Jesus Christ. It's got to be 5.5 years at least, because it started when she was in NXT.
Yeah.
Okay.
I recall you being high on Shayna back then for sure. Yeah. As for me, I did have it as one of my spits. The Rhea Ripley injury, her having to vacate the title, that really sucks. That this is how her reign ends. And I'm also spitting the Liv Morgan revenge tour because I'm personally not feeling it. I haven't cared for it because they started the whole revenge tour thing after she returned at the Rumble. She was trying to go after the title. She couldn't capitalize on that for some reason. She's going after Becky and Nia. And everyone's like, oh, I want a triple threat, include Liv in there. And I didn't want to live in that match, and I'm glad she wasn't in there.
Mm-hmm. The reason she was going after Becky and Nia is because she was trying to get to Rhea, and Becky
she
and Nia
didn't want the Rumble. She didn't want the Chamber. Get in line. Then she came back and she did the whole angle and stuff like that. Obviously, freak injury. I'm not actually blaming Liv Morgan the person. I don't have any beef with her. She's awesome, but the character on screen, I don't care for this revenge tour thing. I really don't want her to be the champion because I don't think she'd hold on to the title. Because if she wins the title on Monday, I guarantee you she won't be champion by the time Rhea comes back. Because because I don't know how long Rhea's going to be gone, but I guarantee you that Liv will not have that long of a reign, more than 6 months. And it just right now with the way the crowd reacted to her,
I don't really think I want a title reign more than 6 months. Like we
got
off the Rhea and
that's
Roman
train.
That's
what I'm saying. So like if the whole goal is to have
Gunther.
Yes. So if the goal is to have Liv Morgan be champion when Rhea comes back, then she shouldn't win this battle royal because who knows how long Rhea's going to be out. Are you really going to keep the title on Liv Morgan that whole time? No. Put on someone else. Honestly, and I'm surprised I'm even saying this because I never have anything positive to say about her. I think Nia would be a better choice to put that title on if Becky Lynch isn't going to be on weekly TV and if she's going to take some time off. I think Nia is a better choice to be the world champion on Raw to solidify that women's division. I know Rick ain't going to be mad about that.
I would not.
Right, she did have a title shot without even beating anybody.
Yeah. On the Liv Revenge tour, Rhea, her injury, all of that. I see Will sitting over there. He's been very quiet. I know he's got a rebellion in his soul. Will Gray, spit or swallow.
Sir, you're absolutely right. All right. First things first, right off the rip, I'm going to big swallow the return of broken Matt Hardy. I'm going to pick that thing just right off the rip. That happened.
Oh, shit.
He came back at the end of Rebellion. Moose had a banger of a match against Nick Nemeth, which is a totally different talking point I'm bringing up later. But Moose and Nick Nemeth's match was an absolute banger, just down to the nitty gritty. You thought maybe, Dolph had a win in him. He's been to New Japan. He won a title there. Maybe he's going to come to TNA and win the big one on this first try. They had me convinced that might be the case. Then after that, Matt Hardy comes out of nowhere, takes Moose out, and picks up the strap. It's like, hell yeah. Broken Matt Hardy.
I don't know how I feel about Matt Hardy beating up Moose. Because he's broken in more ways than one, and most of those are in his body. And I love Matt Hardy, but...
Well, the best part about broken Matt Hardy, though, that's the safest version of him because he doesn't have to do anything because he has the supernatural powers. You see what I mean? So this is the best version of him to try to continue wrestling as because it's the safest version of Matt Hardy.
You know why this is a swallow? Because this guarantees that we won't have a Hardy Boys showing up on WWE TV going after the tag titles. So I didn't want to see that at WrestleMania. I didn't want to see that, period. I don't want Matt Hardy back on WWE TV. I wanted people to shut up about the Hardy Boys. So him being broken, Matt Hardy back on TNA works out beautifully for me.
I'm
also I'm not a big Liv Morgan person.
Thank you.
She's
well,
the
we
reason.
moved on.
I know. I didn't say anything about Liv Morgan though.
Okay, go ahead.
Well,
That's
it's yeah. I'm here for it. I mean, the final deletion walked so that cinematic matches could run, and that proved to be so effective during the pandemic. So, I mean, listen, if it keeps him from actually, getting as active as he's used to being, because his back is like an accordion at this point, let's just roll with that.
If it wasn't for the final deletion in Impact and Matt Hardy with the broken stuff, we wouldn't have the Boneyard match.
Case in point.
Yep.
Boneyard match was a great way to send off Undertaker in his final match, especially with his limitations at that age.
And Matt
But I could argue. I could
Mhm.
argue and say, though, that the Halloween Havoc graveyard matches that Vampiro had in 96 and 98
Okay,
were
all right.
the original cinematic matches. Though.
Listen, you will not catch me saying anything negative about Vampiro. I'll give Vampiro his flowers for sure. Shout
you
out
guys
to
should have
Vampiro.
just been through that on Return to Wrestling, Matt. You remember when that was?
No, I think it's 99. I don't think it's 98.
Okay.
Because we are at Ultimate Warrior.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
No.
So like the ghost and shit in the mirror.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
What is this?
Oh, I'm just popping in to say hi.
Oh, okay. Literally
that's
popped
it.
in.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
host of the She Leads Showcase, Inside the Mind of, in the crowd.
Whoa.
Getting off.
Whoa. What are you doing, sir? What are you doing, sir? This is my job. Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is the host of the She Leads Showcase, the hardest working woman in all of wrestling podcast today, my client, Ms. Katie Kinsey, baby.
Hi. I was like, I saw they're live, whatever, I'll pop in real quick still, and just to disrupt your show for a little bit, because why not?
How was the wedding?
It was fun. A little bit of drama, but what else is fucking new?
Jesus. Yeah, I feel that.
You want to give us a quick spit or swallow before you go?
Oh, fuck. I actually didn't expect you to ask me this question.
I ask you it about 15 times a week, and you thought you'd show up and I wouldn't ask you to spit or swallow?
Yes. I will swallow everything D'Angelo family and them being the reason wrestlers get taken off TV. Hey, that looks familiar.
I have that written down, Katie.
Oh my
Look
God.
at us swallowing the same thing. Yeah.
Thing.
All about the family, you know? Okay, well,
Thank you,
enjoy
Katie.
your show. I will watch this later.
It's good to see you, Katie.
Get some rest, Katie.
Yeah.
I'm tired. All right, bye.
But since you brought it up, ladies and gentlemen, the Don is back. He took care of an issue for Baby Regal and friends. The No Quarters Catch a Penny crew comes out. The Don wants payment for the issues that he took care of. He's like, hey, I did this. Fuck you, pay me. And they're like, no, we're not paying you. He's like, all right, well, if you're not going to pay me, that cup sitting there looks pretty nice. And let me tell you something. If anyone in NXT knows about heritage, it is the Don, all right? The Don knows heritage. So, Baby Regal calls him a two-bit criminal in wrestling boots, which was a little offensive. The Don, by the way, looking dapper in that suit. Just got to get that out there. They end up getting a brawl because they refuse to pay up, and we may be seeing Tony D'Angelo Heritage Cup champion because we got to put something on that man. I have big
title
visions
on that man.
I agree
Dragunov
about
is gonna be drafted. Get the title off of Dragunov and Roxy. Put those goddamn fucking titles on the Don at this point. If you're not gonna put it on the Don, put it on Trick. Like one of those two got to be NXT champ right now.
I think you're gonna see the Don. I think you're gonna see Don get caught up.
I hope he gets called up.
Yeah,
I'll allow the Heritage Cup because it is what it is. I haven't changed my tune much on Tony D'Angelo, but I will say the fact that we've established a whole a nice solid family. He's got a consigliere. He's got a legitimate fit now. He's not wearing them cheap ass sweatsuits like he's in some Sopranos. Like
you just don't ever want to be able to talk about The Godfather again or Goodfellas again. I revoked your privileges years ago, and you're not ever getting them back.
Look. I'm being fair here. I'm not shitting on
You're
them
not
no more.
being fair.
Listen.
Everybody you fucks with the Don except for you.
If they want to put the Heritage Cup on them, I'm here for that. He can't have the NXT title. That's for Trick Williams specifically. But Heritage Cup, I'm all good with that.
If they put the cup on Tony D'Angelo, I don't want to see that man carrying the Heritage Cup. He needs to have hired help carry that fucking title. Like that whole cup around him.
No,
he needs to have his own J&J security.
I don't think it fits him though. I don't think it fits him at all. I don't think he's going to win
it.
It does. No, I think it fits Regal's son more than it does him.
For sure.
But I think it just gives him something to do for one of his last runs. I thought they should have put the world title on him. They didn't for who knows why. You didn't have to keep it on Dragunov.
I don't think he's getting called up. I don't know. I think the family.
I feel like he will, but then the family stays down because as we know, yeah, but as we know, everybody goes up and down. There's no draft. They just do whatever the fuck they want.
Ohana means Santos? Family. Family means no one gets left behind. God damn it.
Santos pulled that bullshit. The Don is faithful. All right, he ain't gonna leave his family behind.
Listen, man.
Why
Santos got to catch strays right now?
I have an idea that would make. I have an idea that I think would make everybody happy. Okay. Here's the thing. Going into the draft, we all know when you see the nifty little logo now, it's red and it's blue, but also at the bottom, it's gold. They're shifting to where NXT won't be a developmental anymore. They've already leaked to a couple of the higher end dirt sheets and said that there will be between 3 to 5, maybe as many as 7 main roster talent drafted to NXT. So they're going to be splitting the wealth up some because guess what? CW now looks at WWE and goes, okay, we're paying all this money. We're paying you millions of dollars for a product. We want a little bit more stars than your developmental. So what you do is you draft Tony D to the main roster. That man never has to work a match. And here's how. You draft the family with him, and then you bring in any extra or stand-in that you can that looks like a beef-eating, meaty Italian dude, and you have him run the underbelly of your main roster. You want something shady done, and you need to go behind Adam Pearce's back? You go see the family. You want something exciting done that you can't necessarily get done on the up and up? You go see the Don. And they incorporate it to where his style is Tony D doesn't fight you until you made it worth the fight. He becomes a spectacle and an attraction then, and you keep the mysticism of him being this mafia Don, like boss of the underground.
I like that. I also have a compromise for Reek that I think will make Young Kings Wrestling happy on all fronts.
Okay.
Now, I heard what you said about that title's for Trick, and I get where you're coming from. We love Trick. But what if we draft Trick and have him beat Sammy for that title and let Trick take that title off Sammy? And then we put that title on Trick, and then we put the NXT title on the Don, and NXT is the Don's brand. He sits in his office with his belt, with his chair. People need to come to him, pay the respects, do the things. He is how things get made and done in NXT. We can even turn the family heel at that point. I think the heel mafia family works a little better eventually down the road than a babyface mafia family. And we have Trick beating Sammy, which I know would make TC very happy.
It would make me happy too.
I'm not opposed to Trick beating Sammy in any capacity, but I have thoughts about that title, and I'll get to it in a second. But the family, I'm all about them being heel, and if they get called up and they get drafted to the brand, it has to be a collective thing. That's the only way I'm okay with it, Bakley. And I think SmackDown would be a perfect spot because I feel like that's a little bit more character based, and that's what I would like to see. And
just
also,
make it faction. We get rid of all of the singles wrestlers on SmackDown. It is strictly like Legado versus the Bloodline versus the family versus Bobby Lashley.
So it's GTA San Andreas is what you're saying.
Exactly. It is just faction warfare on SmackDown. Everyone's got a group.
Speaking
They've all
of
got
which,
a woman in the group.
Just don't put him near the Final Testament because apparently he changes people for the worse.
Tommy just said the Final Testament. Is it bad that I low-key kind of want them to split up Imperium just so Giovanni Vinci can go back to his old NXT gimmick and then join the family? And maybe
if you checked out that show that they had on Roku, they have an actual Italian dude that they signed to a contract that is in developmental right now, who's a big boy, really from Italy, that they could put in the family. He's got some size on him.
I want it to be an actual fucking family. I need that shit to be 10 people deep, at least.
See, I was thinking about this. I gave you some thought, right? What would actually fully sell me, no question, on Tony D'Angelo? We got to get a separate family that's not Italian. Like, get an Irish mob family in there somewhere and create some kind of like some real full-scale war between the two of them. And if Tony and the family come out on top of that, at that point, I will have no objection whatsoever.
We can do that with Legado. You have Legado doing dirty deeds. You have Tony and his crew doing dirty deeds. They're fighting over who controls, as Will said, the underbelly of WWE. Who's doing hits? Who's taking people out? Family faction warfare. Like, you can do that, and you already have Legado for that. You could also do it with if Rich
he already did it with Legado in NXT.
That's what I'm saying.
And Tony won.
Yeah, but I mean,
can I intercede for just a second? Yes. I'm watching a GCW show eloquently named How High in honor of the holiday today is for 420. I just watched a very large man
I would probably say at least 350 on the short side. Do a gorgeous moonsault while smoking a blunt, ladies and gentlemen.
I take it that's a swallow for Will.
That's a big swallow. Like, he didn't even drop it or nothing.
Impressive.
It was impressive.
And my last thing is about your compromise, Matt. The only issue I have with that is the fact that my first swallow happened, and I need to see that through.
Well, you are next. Oh no, Vince is busy. So Reek, spit or swallow.
Well,
I
get
got
it out
yelled
the
at
way.
for eating the chips that weren't mine. That's what was
Bro,
happening.
you
But in
just
my
got married.
defense-
you can't be breaking cardinal
But
sins.
but
like
in
that.
my defense, there was maybe like 5% chips left in that bag.
Doesn't
Then
matter.
you definitely don't eat the end of the chips.
Yeah,
then.
no.
If that's all that's
Exactly.
left, you definitely don't eat the last of anything. God, dude.
It's too early to be fucking up like that. It's
Yeah.
way too early. But yeah, getting the big swallow for me is Chad Gable snapped, beat down Sammy in front of his wife, put him in an ankle lock. I wish he would have broke it, but I need to see this through now. Like, Chad has to beat this man within an inch of his life and take that title off of him, because I never got with the Sammy, Rocky, whatever they doing project. The interest was cool in Montreal. I'll give it to him that. And I said this last week. It's not knocking Sammy personally, but this shouldn't be him. And that end of the day, I think Chad tweeted it out. He's like, if you think deep down, you know he had this coming. I agree. I do.
I think he should keep getting it like every single fucking Monday until he like loses that title.
Hell yeah.
And then add the added fact that supposedly it looks like the Creeds approved on Twitter, on X or whatever, and they were training together. And then now like heel Team Angle 2.0, like Team Gable. Yes.
Do we have any Sami Zayn fans in the house that want to see him keep that IC title? Bakley?
Well, that doesn't count.
No.
You're a ginger with him, so you root for your fellow kind. I get that.
You know,
I root for Mexicans. It's the same thing.
I'm just saying Chad did lose already twice. Maybe he could have won the first two times before Sami Zayn had his shot.
Yeah,
And
he
then
had
didn't.
he was the first person to beat Gunther on the main roster, I'm pretty sure.
I
By
would-
DQ.
I would assume that the Creeds and Chad go heel, and maybe Maxine and
Yeah.
Otis go off to do their own thing. Maxine and
And-
Otis.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Akira
what
Tozawa
about-
might be lost in the shuffle.
What about Ivy?
What about Ivy?
She's with the Creeds.
Yeah, I can
I-
see Ivy going with the Creeds. I honestly, I think
Yeah.
maybe a heel turn would be good for Ivy. I think that might help her a little bit.
Yes.
Well,
She's
when
got
they
that
first debuted in NXT, led by Roderick Strong, they were all heels, and that was probably when I thought they were the most interesting, including Ivy Nile. Like, I thought they were more interesting as heels. But
Their matches were great though, and that's what kept them on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Vince,
yes,
would you like to use your turn to spit or swallow, or would you like use your turn to ask me a question, or have Melissa ask me the question that we've been waiting for an hour?
no, I'm gonna swallow because I've been waiting to swallow for.
See,
about,
Reek,
like,
what
3
you also
weeks.
missed is apparently Melissa and Vince were laying in bed together, and both had a question about me while together in bed. That
So
Vince has
the
been
question
cock-teasing
was-
me about. Well,
the-
if you ask the question, then that's your turn. So either it's your spit or swallow or your question.
I'm not asking. I'm clarifying for Reek. The question was asked towards me, and then it was wondered, should this be asked to Matt? Like, let's ask Matt. And then Matt chose Melissa to go ahead and ask the questions. But I said after the show, so we'll do it post show. So my first swallow.
I do too.
I want another question though. It's
You're
okay.
gonna- You're gonna make us wait. That's crazy.
Yeah. Just like this man made us wait for 8 months, but the wait was totally fucking worth it. It may not be a thing anymore, and it may not be a thing that Matthew doesn't allow me to acknowledge because of my own doing. But I am swallowing the return of Sheamus on Raw. Not only did he come back with another banger of a match, but he came back with his old theme song. Shout out Lobsterhead. I think that's the name of the band. I'm gonna say Lobsterhead.
Sheamus.
Yeah, for Sheamus. Fucking fantastic. I was so excited for this man. I was glad to see him on TV, and I'm glad that he returned on Raw because my Austin Theory and what I want to see happen, I want to see him get that IC title. Fuck Sammy. Fuck Chad Gable. I want that IC title on Sheamus. He needs to get that
Chad
one.
Also, listen,
because I want
Vince fucked
Sheamus
up
to be champ.
Vince Delgado of the Smackin' It Raw podcast absolutely and totally ruined any chance of us acknowledging his Sheamus stanism. However, Vicente Alejandro Delgado Estrada is a man who could ride for Sheamus that I would believe in, because I feel like that man would draft Sheamus #1 in a draft and not betray the man that he was standing for, unlike other Vinces we know.
Ooh, going back now.
Is that you saying you'd be willing to do a draft?
That's me saying I would draft with Vicente Alejandro Delgado Estrada.
Okay, we'll have your people talk to my people. Which
I'm gonna
is
need
my
to see
wife.
the official paperwork on that too. You're not just gonna I'm gonna need it in writing.
All right. But yeah, no, Sheamus back. It was a great sight to see. He looked great. Fuck the people that were shitting on him and body shaming him. Fuck all y'all. Y'all wish he looked as good as Sheamus does.
I do.
You know what's gonna happen now, right?
What?
Because you said this, now the IC title is gonna go to SmackDown.
He better get drafted to fucking SmackDown. Bakley, why'd you gotta put that out there?
I'm just saying, why? See, this is what I don't get. Why do you bring him back a week before the draft, switch him to Raw just for the draft to be a week later, and the potential for that title to move from Raw to SmackDown?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Bakley. Let's mourn if that happens next week. Okay.
Indeed.
Okay, just saying though. Just saying.
No, you're right. You're right. Fair points. Those are fair points.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. My Uncle Sheamus is back. You know, I've missed him for the last 8 months. You know, I haven't seen my Ginger Crota as much as possible on TV, and now I get it. You know, but a week before the draft, it just made no sense.
Well, we will all be fully satisfied, hopefully, come the draft. But if you're not so sure if you're going to be satisfied come the draft, then maybe you guys should check out patreon.com/Smackin' It Raw, guaranteed to satisfy you. For just $1, you get 3 shows. You get to Return to Wrestling with me and Travis breaking down old school WCW. We will be recording the next episode next weekend, which is Fall Brawl War Games 1998. It is WCW versus the NWO versus the Wolfpack in War Games. We've got Ultimate Warrior, Diamond Dallas Page, and Roddy Piper versus Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, and Stevie Ray versus Sting, Lex Luger, and Kevin Nash, as well as a bunch of other great stuff. The beginning of Chris Jericho and the Goldberg, Greenberg stuff. Everything is starting to pop off now. It is a great time to hop on. I am not a huge fan of the Warrior. Travis is. So it's going to be a fun conversation next weekend you guys won't want to miss. We also have Multiverse with Travis and Mara, where they break down DC animated films. Their next one is Hush, not the Netflix horror movie, the DC animated film. So go check that out, because I believe the last one was Under the Red Hood. And tomorrow night, we will be recording the very next episode of If You Have to Ask, where me, my wife, Kate, and occasionally a guest break down Am I the Asshole posts that we get off Reddit or that Travis sends to me, and give you guys a little bit of insight into our relationships with friends, family, and each other, and have some laughs. So if all or any of that sounds interesting to you, that is our $1 tier. Now, if you want to show us a little more support, you guys get more things like this show ad-free. However, if you're watching us live right now, that is not an option. What is an option, though, is supporting our sponsors, who Travis is here to tell you about, and it is my favorite sponsor this week, ladies and gentlemen.
To spice things up in the bedroom, then it's time to check out Adam and Eve. Because you see, Adam and Eve is the leading adult toy store that offers a wide range of products to help you explore your sexual desires. Whether you're looking for something to use solo or with a partner, they have everything you need to satisfy your cravings. From vibrators to lingerie, bondage gear to lubricants, AdamandEve.com has it all. And the best part, you can shop with confidence, knowing that all their products are of high quality and backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means whether you bought a dildo, sex swing, penis ring, vibrator, anal sex toy, bondage toy, couples toy, lube, or accessory, you can get a refund within 90 days if you're not 100% satisfied. No questions asked. And right now, as a special offer to our listeners, Adam and Eve is giving you 50% off almost any item on their website. That's right, 50% off. And if you act now, you'll also get free shipping. So go to adamandeve.creationworld.com and use the offer code EROTICA at checkout. That's erotica at adamandeve.creationworld.com for 50% off almost any item and free shipping. Don't wait. This offer won't last very long. The link is in the description.
Except for Vince. Vince is not back. But it's not Vince's turn. It's Bakley's turn. So Daniel Bakley, spit or swallow.
I'm going to spit everything Ridge Holland being on my TV right now. This man has been on TV hurting people, putting people on the shelf, comes back, slams the door in Joaquin Wilde's hand, loses his temper yet again. This man needs anger management, and then has his match with him, does the same thing, and then all of a sudden, Sean Spears walks out. Like, I don't get everything that's going on. Like, why are they booking Ridge the way they are? You know, it makes no sense to me.
I agree. The whole Ridge thing, him being back in NXT, like none of this is working for me at all. His anger, his accident, like the idea of him like accidentally hurting people in the ring and it being part of his gimmick, and then translating that, I thought had a little bit of potential. And now we went to like him never wrestling again, and now like everything he does accidentally hurts people. This feels very Vince McMahon and not very Shawn Michaels to me, and I'm not digging it.
Yeah, I was never a fan of that whole thing, to be honest. And I don't know that I was ever fully sold on Rich Holland to begin with. So that just doubles down on the I'm just not into it like that. But this whole like 1 minute, I'm taking time off, and I'm thinking that was legit. I'm thinking he's gonna go away for a while and maybe we'll just, give him a repackage and start over. No, we're not doing that. We just like, forget the time off. I'm just gonna be back here sorting my anger issues out in the back. Like, no, that's not hitting for me. I'm sorry.
The only time I really liked them was in the Brawling Brutes when he was stealing my gimmick and being Sheamus' #1 fan. That was the only time I really cared about him, and it wasn't even that much.
Yeah, no, he hasn't really done it for me at all, ever in any of his iterations. Pete Dunne's better off away from the Brawling Brutes. Sheamus is back with his old music and his old look, and I think everyone's better off away from the Brawling Brutes except for Rich Holland, and I think that says a lot about Rich Holland. Will, spit or swallow?
I'm gargling undecidedly Tatum Paxley.
Okay.
Across the board. Okay. And I know you guys are like, holy fuck, Will said something NXT related. I throw that curveball. Thought it was going to be like TNA or NWA or some fucking like mud show from NXT. All right. Tatum
Paxley. 40
Paxley.
minutes. We'll at least get 2 more spits or swallows in before the show is over. So you got time.
Okay. Well, I've got a plenty long list. But the issue is Tatum Paxley is, I would say, the third best person to attempt to pull this gimmick off between Alexa Bliss and Team Firecrotch. Because Alexa Bliss was the best, Team Firecrotch was the second best, and now Tatum Paxley is swimming in oblivion trying to pull off the same stuff that was done better than what she's doing before her.
See,
You're referencing her character,
the supernatural
Okay,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah, try to pull. That's what I'm saying. It seems like they're just copying and pasting a lot of like pieces they liked when Alexa did it and when Team Firecrotch did it, and now she's doing it, and it's like she's adapting her own version of it with like her aesthetic versus Alba Fire and them's aesthetic versus Alexa's aesthetic with the Fiend.
I think this is less supernatural and more just
Yeah.
she's fucking crazy.
That, but also I'm more drawn to
obsessed with the title.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's more the infatuation that draws the parallel to Mickey Trish that I got invested in, because it's like, okay, so you just been hanging around me all this time, and it seemed like it was about Lyra, like a kind of weird lesbian vibe going on, but now it's like, oh no, you had the title, so that's why I was hanging around you. So I can get behind that.
If she dips more into witchcraft, if she starts making voodoo dolls and shit, I will jump on the Will Gray bandwagon. But right now, I think that whole vignette and everything they did for her villain origin story, if you will, was more just to display like she's fucking psycho. And we've talked about "don't stick your dick in crazy," and me and Will have never heard that phrase. That is foreign to us. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, how she talked about Lyra losing the title, breaking her heart, so she had to break Lyra. She's not settling for being friends with the champion anymore. She wants the title for herself. She beat Thea with a little help from JC Jane. And now we're getting a triple threat match with Tatum in the match because Roxanne was talking shit and they was like, oh, really? Well, fuck you. Fight them both. So I don't know. I'm invested. I'm down. If she does get farther into the supernatural, the witchy, the voodoo, and the bullshit, then I may be joining you on that train, Will.
We'll see.
Yeah. But if they want to be bold, put that title on it. I'm not saying they should.
Yeah.
I'm saying if they want to be bold. Because
I hope they do.
Roxy could go to the main roster. It's not like she needs to stay in NXT.
No, she's eligible for the draft, so she's gonna get drafted.
Yeah,
there you go.
I mean, she could get drafted to NXT.
Yeah. I only say that because like this feud between Tatum and Lyra is built in already, and if the first match is going to be not 1-on-1, then you got room to build.
You can set up the 1-on-1 match afterwards with Tatum as champion and Lyra chasing, and then Lyra can get called up. I think Lyra was a fantastic women's champion.
Yeah,
I don't think she gets her flowers enough. So.
I give her flowers every fucking week on the show.
No. I meant like from like the discourse that I see on my feed on Twitter.
Because I was gonna say Lyra Valkyria has literally been said my favorite female wrestler going right now today.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wrestler
Yeah.
in ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the big thing with the whole thing is we got the why now from Tatum. Why she was stalking Valkyria, all the segments and everything. I was wondering, just like you said, I thought it was about Lyra, and now we figure out that it's about the title. So it's a nice swerve. We get the backstory with everything with it.
Well, since you brought that up, I'm going to throw in my own little spitter swallow here. New tag titles on Raw and SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen. Swallowing both. I think I'm personally slightly more fond of the SmackDown title look than the Raw ones. I do like that they tried to do matching aesthetics with the Raw, so the Raw Women's title and the World Heavyweight title and the tag titles all look the same. But those SmackDown tag titles, they look like the old school Raw and SmackDown titles fucked and had a really cool baby.
It gives me vibes of that undisputed title that Brock and Eddie and Kurt had back in the Ruthless Aggression era, which is why I like it so much. I think out of the two, it is the better looking one. I would say it maybe just needs a splash of something, like either like some jewels or like maybe a little bit of color. But in contrast, I made the statement already on Twitter where I initially really liked the world titles on Raw. but then I saw the red on them, and I thought that just kind of like defeated the purpose of like having them neutral. This way, like, you know, like they still feel like Raw titles. So like, what if the draft you move the team over to SmackDown in the future? You know, like, are you going to change the red to blue again? You know, that's kind of like my whole issue with it.
Will, how do you feel about the tag titles?
I feel like when I saw the new ones on Raw, I said, okay, they're going to be giving us completely different designs. And I said I was a little bit scared because those Raw titles, initially, I thought they reminded me of the Copper Penny titles. That ugly round face, and I was just like, a little bit. They looked like the trios titles from AEW. And then I looked at like the tooling in it and the designs on the leather and the leather. That Southern draw came out. Fuck. I looked at the tooling on the leather and I was like, okay, these look gorgeous. But then when I saw the ones from Friday and I saw the saggy ass diaper titles, and I was like, these belts are fucking perfect. And I know that sounds contradictory because we called them the saggy ass diaper titles on the show when we ranked because we did like 50 titles and we ranked them. And that was one that Katie and Al called them, were the saggy diaper titles. And they put the saggy diaper faceplates on these titles, and I think they're gorgeous.
They are.
Both sets look nice. I think Friday nights, the SmackDown titles are the better looking of the two.
Yeah, it definitely are. The Raw titles kind of look like, you know, Super Bowl rings for a second. So I was like, okay, let's see how SmackDown looks. They hit it. The second I seen it, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
we good. Because I thought back to the Ruthless Aggression, and even before that, those
the Attitude Era titles and stuff.
Like, okay,
the Dudley Boys signature belts, like yeah,
yeah,
it really does look that way. Also, like I was on TikTok and someone said that the World Tag Titles on Raw kind of look like a pepperoni pizza, and I can't unsee that now. Like it looks like a pepperoni pizza from Little Caesars or something.
And you knew they had to do something after what happened last strap, where the Raw champ went to SmackDown, and then the SmackDown went to Raw.
Yeah,
and you had to do something to figure out a way to switch them over. Whereas with this, if you trade champs, you don't have that problem. It's just at least they don't look like to that brand. You can just
there's just like the little hints of
them.
red on the Raw ones. Maybe they can switch it over to like a black background. Maybe make it a little bit more even that way.
Justin said the Raw titles look like Ferrero Rocher wrappers.
Damn, he ain't lying.
All right, Reek, spit or swallow.
All right, you ready for this? I'm never gonna say this shit again. I am swallowing Natty on NXT. Here's why.
What?
I'm with him. I'm with him. I hate it, but I'm with him.
Here's why. We have found something that I can get behind, which is where she should have been this entire time. I don't want to see her trying to involve herself in storylines and stuff like that I'm really invested in. You go down to NXT and you work with a talent like Lola Vice, who relatively still fresh in, but needs a big win to start catapulting her because, you know, they got big plans for her. She's a vet. She's been here forever. She's worked with a whole bunch of new talent. This is perfect. I need her to get her ass beat next week, but this is it. This is where you put her. And I hope they draft her to NXT and they keep her there. This is how we work with Natty for me.
On top of that, not only is she working with Lola Vice, Carmen Petrovic is going to be training her for the NXT Underground match.
Yep. And this goes right up. Lola, her real name, was a fighter in Bellator. I watched her before she went to NXT. And she was pretty solid. And they don't talk much about that background, but she's got it. So that goes right up her alley at this point.
Fuck, I hate that we both had that on our
let's,
list.
let's just hope she doesn't get lost in the shuffle with, like the last person that won a NXT Underground did. Because we saw that Eddie Thorpe won one, and then poof, he disappeared.
What happened to him?
2 minutes later.
Eddie Thorpe wasn't wrestling Natalia or the Natalia equivalent of the men's division.
No.
But I mean, even still, like, I would think that they put enough time and effort into this character that Dijak is that should have meant something. My thing is, this is why I can't get behind certain people, because I was sitting up there saying, what are we talking about Eddie Thorpe for? I don't get it. And they went out and did that match on Underground, and it was dope. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it didn't do nothing, and he vanished, like you said. So
it wound up pushing Dijak more than it did him. Dijak went on and has been on every PLE since then, and Eddie Thorpe has been on Level Up.
Yeah.
To answer Tommy's question,
has not leveled up.
Has not leveled.
He leveled down.
Yeah,
it's terrible. Who's in Natalia?
Dolph used to be the Natalia of the men's division. Now who would it be?
I was thinking Dolph when I read his question. I said the same thing.
Yeah, but if we're talking about active roster,
that's tough.
Miz.
Yes, Miz or R-Truth, either one.
No, R-Truth. No, R-Truth is actually entertaining. Natty never.
Corbin. It's Corbin.
Corbin's not on the main roster though. Well,
he
technically.
I mean, Natty's currently not on the main roster either, Vince.
Yeah.
You're right. No. I know. That's why I stopped mid-sentence. I was like, you know what? Actually, no.
And in his defense, Corbin's getting cheered now.
That too. And the thing is, like, Corbin, he's one of the safest workers they got. That's why Kurt's last match was with him, right? It was clean, simple, easy. He's working with somebody who was helping to elevate. I mean, Braun was already going to the moon, but you know, that's just an added feather in his cap there. You know, he's not going anywhere beyond where he is. He's not going to no main event scene or nothing like that. He's right where he is. So I could go with Corbin.
All right.
I'm still saying this.
Alejandro Delgado Estrada.
Mateo. I am gonna go ahead and swallow Solo's new bloodline on SmackDown. He suited up like Barney Stinson. We're talking about people suiting up this week. Solo looked fantastic. He still had the thumb taped up, which I thought was funny. I love that shit. He officially introduced his MFT, being the newest member of the bloodline, to Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman still is just like so terrified of Solo Sikoa since last week.
Shooketh.
And it's crazy because this man managed Big Show, Austin, Angle, Punk, Brock, and I've never seen this man shiver and quiver like this before. And this is great for Solo. He looks great. Also, I have no idea why he came in and wanted to know. I asked this in the group chat. I was like, did I miss some details last week? Why is Solo asking for Kevin? Why did they fuck up Kevin Owens so bad? I'm not questioning that it happened. I'm just like, is there something here? Are we gonna know why, or was it just for shits and giggles? Because if it's for shits and giggles, that's gonna be hilarious, and I'm gonna love it even more if he just did it just for shits and giggles, just a random name out of the hat. That's who we're gonna fuck up this week, you know?
I
don't know what the MFT stands for either. I'm old now too.
Motherfucking Tama.
Motherfucking Tama. There you go. Hey, that would be a nice title too.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, man. This is why Paul is a Hall of Famer though, because as great as Roman has been, as great the Bloodline's been, you watch his expressions, his things he says, and it tells you a portion of the story too. Because, like you said, he's managed and been alongside some of the most dominant and imposing and scary looking people ever, and he was never looking like this. Like, He would, even when Roman would go off and he'd start like going beast mode, beating somebody's ass and stuff like that, he would like shake for a little bit, but then he'd walk away. He'd be smiling because I'm with him. When Solo and Thomas start doing something, he just looks like repulsed. He looks scared. Like he looks genuinely like he's in too deep.
He doesn't know if he's going to catch a stray. He's like, when are they going to attack? Because he doesn't have that safety net and security that he's always had with Brock, Roman, and Punk.
Exactly. The problem is that Roman saw the value in Paul. He don't know if Solo and Thomas see that in him. They just know that he's the wise man. He's around here. He knows he's not seen as an equal to them.
Hey, Rick, you always used to hate it when I make DBZ reference when you weren't here. I'm going to make one while you're here. Roman is Super Boo. After he absorbs everyone with Buhan and Boo-Tanks and Piccolo and everything, Solo as Tribal Chief is Kid Boo. Pure chaos and unpredictability.
Ooh, okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I think with Paul Heyman, it's the fact that he could trust Roman because Roman's, like you said, he saw the value in Paul where he was more methodical. Like he would tell Paul what he was doing, whereas Solo's just going on just pure adrenaline. He's doing whatever he does, and he doesn't tell Paul. So Paul's not in like the circle right now. He's just there just to be there, and Solo's just, I guess, use him for what he needs, but he's just keep him at like arm's length. He's not in front of him whenever they're doing something.
No.
So that's why Paul's scared, because he doesn't know what's going to happen next.
He's completely out of the loop. And then he saw what he did to his own brother, his own flesh and blood, and Jimmy last week. It's like, we got no blood. We don't have that kind of relationship. He can decide tomorrow he doesn't want me around anymore and just end me.
Three things. One, judging by how long these conversations go, I think we got about one more round the circle. So everyone pick your best spit or swallow. Seeing as I put Dynamite in there, if anyone has some shit from Dynamite, I'd love someone to mention something from Dynamite.
Fuck Dynamite.
Two, back to the MFT thing. Two thoughts. One, originally I was gonna say my meat feeling tongue, just because me. But think about this, right? When you're leading a group, you have your right-hand man, right? But Solo's not about his right hand. He's about his thumb. MFT is my motherfucking thumb.
Oh, boy.
Because that's what he attacks with. That is what Tama is his tongue, or his thumb. I almost said his tongue. His thumb.
Well,
whoa.
Motherfucking thumb. That's a title.
I think that Paul is confused because Solo and Tama are going against what Roman had planned. And there's this dissension in the bloodline with both the tribal chief and the final boss being off in Hollywood filming Fast and the Furious 26. So I think with there being this dissension and them building, I still put my feather in the cap that we're building to a bloodline civil war. It's going to come out that Solo is working for The Rock, and we're going to see Babyface, Roman, and the Usos come back together, and it's going to be this bloodline civil war. And I think they're going to have this built and build all the way out till Survivor Series in November.
So
War Games.
So need it. One final rebuttal, and it's the last thing I'll say. Last week, Solo said, by orders of the tribal chief. People are thinking that Solo's out here taking liberties. What if what he meant by orders of the tribal chief is the true tribal chief, Dwayne Le Rock Johnson, giving the orders to Solo and leaving Roman out in the dark?
Because he cracked Paul's Roman Reigns phone a week and a half ago or whatever it was when he took it out of his hands and smashed it.
Yep.
He's disrespectful.
Yeah.
He tried to say call Roman Reigns. Yeah.
The third thing I had was if Roman is Super Boo and Solo is Kid Boo, Does that make Paul Heyman Bobbity?
Yes.
Yeah. I was
Absolutely.
going to say that. I was going to say that earlier, but the conversation kept flowing.
I had to get it on the DBZ shit. But
is there any question that Paul Heyman is a mad magician?
No. With his tongue, no one tops him.
Best facials.
See, that's the thing. Paul is his motherfucking tongue. Paul is his motherfucking tongue. Tom was his motherfucking thumb. If you get the tongue and the thumb together, magic is made. Anyway, Bakley, spit or swallow.
Tippy time ruining that main event last night. I am swallowing the shit out of this because I want her to win that title. She didn't want anybody else to. She was never too soon with Tiffany Stratton.
I think it's too soon.
I think we need a shake up there. Bailey had her moment. Great for her. But this whole thing with her and Naomi made no sense to me at all. Just giving title shots out and whatnot. So I want Tiffy to get a title shot and win. So I'm glad that she ruined that main event.
It was a damn good match between Bailey and Naomi. And you
Fantastic match.
You had Jade and Bianca sitting up in the skybox next to Damage Control, chilling, watching. Like, they had a damn good match until Tiffy showed up. So I'm with you. I had it to swallow. We didn't even talk about.
I think Tiffy might win Money in the Bank.
I've had her earmarked since January for Money in the Bank.
Same. Me too.
So we didn't even talk about R-Truth calling Triple H Tommaso Ciampa and the whole back and forth between him and The Miz. That was fucking fantastic as well.
I thought you were going to bring that up with the whole tag title stuff, and then, to be honest, I completely forgot about it.
I was going to do it, but they've been doing it for. I was going to do it, but then they've been doing it for months now. This whole thing.
But no. What they've been doing is R-Truth calling Gargano and Ciampa Shawn and Triple H and calling them DX. This is the first time I think he's called Triple H Tommaso Ciampa directly.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's called HBK Johnny Gargano.
Johnny Gargano, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was funnier because Triple H was legit just like, oh, you know what? I will say this because I was watching the whole segment with my wife, and she fucking cracked up. I know. It feels cool to say. And she fucking cracked up at the part where Miz tries to explain it in French, and then for some reason Archer's like, "Oh, these are our titles now. These are our." Like, he completely got it. Like, he was completely in the dark, didn't understand a single thing. But once Miz translated in French, understood all of it. I thought it was hilarious. It was a good segment for sure.
Were you watching with Melissa or Lindsay?
Lindsay is out the question. She's out of the picture. She's null and void. She got released.
Huh?
Yeah, she got released along with Jinder Mahal and Xia Li.
William Spitter Swallow.
Rick is so lost.
He's gonna enlighten me.
I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do this efficiently. So I'm going to swallow two different wrestlers for showing out this week in fantastic matches. One is Javon Evans, who came out and had a great match against Ilya Dragunov for the NXT title. And then Will Ospreay continues to show why he's one of the most dominant performers in ring in wrestling right now, because him and Cesaro had an absolute banger on AEW Dynamite. There, I made sure to say it for you, Matt.
Thank you.
So yeah, Javon Evans and Will Ospreay on AEW Dynamite.
This kid's fucking 19. Like, that's wild to me.
Yeah.
Since we're here, and I have a feeling only maybe 3 of us watched it, I'm going to swallow, again, surprising, Mathematics Jackson, specifically for the fact that he pulled a Booker T and went in the ring beating down Daniel Garcia while talking shit on a mic.
Really?
Yeah, no, he walked into a trios match with a microphone in his hand and just started shitting on Daniel Garcia while he was stomping his ass down he ended up getting his ass beat, and then the match happened, and blah blah blah. Well, the match continued, but no, he went in there. Garcia almost gets destroyed by the Elite after losing the trios. Pac ends up making the save with the bell hammer and running him off. But yeah, no, Mathematics Jackson in there pulling a Booker T mid-match and just talking shit on the mic while whooping somebody's ass.
I guess we know why Garcia was in the match now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch. I'll take a look at that and give my feedback on a later time. Because I don't know how I'm going to feel about that.
I didn't watch Dynamite nor NXT, but I might have to tune in just to see how it played out, to see if it played out as well as Matt described it.
I mean, it was a small thing. He had the microphone. He comes in. He's talking shit about Daniel Garcia while he's stomping him and beating him down mid-match. And then Garcia makes a comeback. He loses the mic. The match continues. Bucks and Okada get the win. That's who the Elite are, right? Okada?
Yes.
That guy? Yeah.
You're the one that
they
watched it,
definitely-
Matt. You should know.
So, I don't. They listen. You know me.
Wait, are we not giving the funky names to the Japanese wrestlers no more?
If they're in AEW, I'm not. It's only when they're in New Japan. He's not signed with New Japan no more. That's the deal.
Wait,
New Japan is the real
Say his full name now. Can you say it?
Kazuchika Okada.
There you go.
How come we still call him Big Time Rush though? Big Time Rush. He signed to AEW.
Well, that had
Was he
nothing to do
on
with him
TV?
being in New Japan. Was he ever in New Japan?
Yeah.
Was he?
Was he?
No, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Like not officially. signed, like a
Nothing I
wrestler.
ever said about Roosh or Drillmatic or like
Dra-
none of that.
Dragon
Dragon Ball
Lee
Lee?
is signed.
Dragon Ball Lee. Those are not insults. Those were cool nicknames I gave these wrestlers. Those were not insults.
Big Time Rush.
Big
was
Time
never cool.
Roosh, Drillmatic, and Dragon Ball Lee were not me being me and talking shit. You just took it that way. You got offended for no reason. You love Dragon Ball and Dragon Lee, and I put them together. You said, "What the fuck's that about?" Like, really? Really? We just talked about Super Boo and Kid Boo. Come on. Anyway, Reek, spit or swallow.
It's true. So I'm gonna put this together real quick. An honorable swallow to AJ winning on Friday because I need me some Cody versus AJ. I don't think they've had an actual like one-on-one match yet.
Never.
So
They've
So that's what
been
we
to
do.
the same places, same promotions, and always miss each other every single time.
AJ has wrestled his
Sure.
father.
Rhea, yeah, for the NWA title.
Yeah.
No way.
But my main thing, and I hate that it's come to this, but I'm hard spit. AOP, Authors of Pain, The Final Testament, from NXT to SmackDown. I was so hyped when they brought AOP back. You put Karrion Kross with them, and you're like, okay, we're gonna do something here. They didn't look great, they were in the feud with Bobby and Street Profits, and it was like they had the upper hand on them for the longest time. And then Mania happens, and it's like all of that heat just died. Like
Which is the story of Karrion Kross's career. He builds a shit ton of heat and then loses the match, and nobody gives a fuck anymore.
It's like I can't keep getting disappointed at this point. Like Karrion Kross for me peaked in 2020, and the worst part is like it happened, and he got injured, and he had to come back and try to and I don't think he never fully rebounded since then, because then Vince tried to make him a gimp on live TV on Monday Night Raw, and then the release. So it's like I don't know. I don't know how you fix this at this point. Like it's not.
It's
I want to be
unfixable.
hyped
Like
for this.
Adam Cole cooked him on the mic on NXT way back when, and he's
Oh
never
my
been the
God.
same since.
Can I like him but not AOP and everybody else? Because I've been looking the vignettes and stuff he's been doing on like Twitter where he's given like why he's doing what he's doing. He just did the one where he was like, this has been my year, but when you look at the people that I've been in the ring with, like it might just be like a better 2024 for me. He was like, Solo hasn't won a match. in 6 months, but he was on WrestleMania and things are up with him with the bloodline. He was like, I haven't won a match in 8 months, but I was on a match in WrestleMania. He was like, Drew won the title and then lost it. And AJ, same thing. He was like, the club isn't together anymore, are they? He was like, so it seems like he's doing all these things where he's messed with people and it's kind of backfire on him, but good things are starting to happen for everybody else. So he's like, maybe things are going to happen for me. So I feel like AOP, I don't give a shit about them, but with Karrion Kross and Scarlett, maybe they can be salvaged after the draft.
It's funny because I feel the opposite. I am actually very invested in AOP, especially if they go down to NXT again. But I don't give a fuck about Karrion Kross.
And I feel like they're kind of separated. I'm like, they've been focusing on just AOP with NXT, but then they're still focusing Kross with the main roster.
Yeah, it's like, and I want to be invested in AOP because AOP was fucking dope when they first came up. So it's like, what happened between now and then? I mean, during the Vince years, they fumbled them on the main roster, and then they were hurt. But it's like, if we going back, we brought Paul Ellering back. Like, that was a big missing component to it. But it's not where it was before. And then you add in the fact, again, Kross is just not where he should be there. It's like, I don't know. I don't know how you fix it.
How do we get from AJ to this?
And AOP. We have spent way too much time on them for what they are worth on my TV. Vince swallow.
There's so many things I can go down this rabbit hole, but I think I'm gonna end off on something that didn't even take place on WWE, AEW, or any wrestling program. I am swallowing all the internet wrestling community coming together in unison because it's very hard to get everyone together for the same common goal. Death Revel got shitted on, got completely teared to shreds. There were so many like fake Death Rebel remakes of all these different wrestlers. It became a thing where my TikTok feed was overflooded with them. Death Rebel was trending for the wrong reasons. I think it's a conversation that needed to happen, and I'm glad it's happening. I'm never a proponent for anyone losing their job, but Death Rebel needs to go. And I'm glad
I'm a proponent for people that are bad at their jobs losing their jobs. I'm 100% a proponent for people who are bad at their jobs losing their jobs.
Yep. They've had a few songs. So I think the only one off the top of my head is Roman's current theme song is Death Rebel made. But aside from that, I can't really think of anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Can we just call Jim Johnson, see what he's doing, and just put the shit to bed?
Or even fuck Jim Johnson. Who was doing the
CFOs.
NXT bangers? Yeah, CFOs.
CFOs.
Can we figure that money situation out and bring them back? Because
do that too.
They just gotta stop making 4-minute songs on a 1-minute loop. It's original up until a minute and a half, and then it loops for the rest of the song.
I'm cool with that. I'll vibe to it for 4 minutes driving in my car. I do it to Aleister Black's theme song all the time.
I miss Aleister Black's theme song.
Keith Lee's. Anyway, that was a fucking banger. Will, do me a favor. Between you and Bakley, back and forth real quick, give us a rundown as we close out the show of what happened on Rebellion. Give me the highlights of TNA. Because I've been telling Bakley I am this close. If it wasn't for Mariah May, Toni Storm, Deonna Purrazzo, Thunder Rosa, and I don't think I have her name. The girl that Mariah May made out with last week.
What's her name? I don't want to say the wrong Japanese wrestler.
Oh, it was the oh shit!
Mina
you had me do.
Mina
yeah,
Shirakawa.
you had me do the video for her. Yeah,
Mina Shirakawa. If it wasn't for Mina, I would have already paid $1 to YouTube and just switched over to TNA at this point. So please tell me what I have to look forward to. Should I give them my $1 and start reviewing TNA over AEW?
I would say that the tag team division in TNA right now is built better and more strong than the tag team division AEW. You have the system, which is Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers.
Yep.
They just had a banger of a match against Speedball Mike Bailey and Trent Seven. And them going against a team that's not a from scratch tag team shows you how bolstered that tag team division is, because they took the belts off of Team ABC, which is Chris Bay and Ace Austin. You also had the Motor City Machine Guns in there. You have the Time Splitters in there, depending on where Alex Shelley and Sabin end up. And then outside of that, the X division. Mustafa Ali is on one of the best heel runs in his career, being the it's almost this like make wrestling great again, like politician, like campaign trail that he's doing both on the indies and inside of TNA. Him and Jake Something just absolutely beat the shit out of each other for that title. They have this whole thing where the people are protesting Jake Something because he's not at weight for the X division. So they're incorporating like the protests going in against him. Some of the best, if you like the storytelling from NXT, but you like the in-ring work of the main roster, you get both of those things in TNA because they focus on the wrestling and the entertainment equally. That's why you need to spend $1.
Not to mention the vignettes. They do the vignettes really great. You had Eric Young. I think I sent Matt the vignette of him talking to himself because he referred to the bad side of him, a virus. Because he said whenever something bad happens, it comes out of that side of him, and he's buried it away. But he came to where he started to talk to his bad self, to bring it out, to face Frankie Kazarian in a Full Metal Mayhem match. He lost the match, but like I always like the vignettes that they bring out to tell the story of why somebody's doing something. I thought that was a great match, great finish. You had to have Frankie win to kind of progress that even more. You had the Rebel match with Josh Alexander and Alex Hammerstone in a last man standing match.
I've heard about this Josh Alexander kid. I've heard a lot about this kid.
He's a beast.
Canadian Kurt Angle. That's what I like to call him. Basically the same thing. And he's tough as news. He's basically the heart and soul of TNA. They put on a banger of a match. They're trying to build up Alex and Hammerstone as one of the top main event heels. I feel like future champion, possibly to be one of the guys to take the belt from Moose. I feel like. So I personally thought that he should have won it. What was that?
Is Moose champion right now?
Yeah, he's champion. Okay. That's the next one. But I felt like they needed to push Hammerstone to win, but they gave it to Alexander. Little gripe, but still a great match. Maybe they continue that rivalry still. And then, of course, Moose and Nick Nemeth, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler, they had a great match, a few botches. But I like the way that they're pushing their homegrown guy in Moose. He's the champion again. They have him as the leader of the system, which he mentioned earlier. Three-man group with Alicia Edwards, Eddie Edwards' wife, in it as a manager / a knockout. But I like the whole card in itself. You had, of course, Jordan Grace winning. She won with a lot of interference involved against Steph DeLander. Of course, Matt Cardona tore his pec and got injured, so he was able to appear. So he had the good hands get involved in the match. But then we had the return of Sami Callihan and PCO to kind of equal the odds, and Jordan retained. And she has gone on social media lately that she wants that match in TNA with Natalya. So that'd be interesting to see if that does happen. She's been mentioning it all on social media.
Anyone at TNA to do some shit, send Natty.
Yes,
exactly. So I'm praying something happens with that, because you can do it to where she's NXT and making appearances every now and then with TNA.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can make it happen.
All right. You guys got me interested. I don't know where the fuck Vince went, or if we're ever gonna find out what the question was now. Because
Yeah,
the fuck, he didn't even text me to tell me he had to go. But anyway, there he is. Dan, what was your favorite show you watched this week?
I would have to say NXT. I really like what they're doing with the roster. We're gonna have some people working called up, but I like what they're progressing with some of the roster to take place of the top talent that's gonna leave.
Will, you're muted.
I am muted. I'm gonna go with Rebellion.
Okay.
With it being, I know it's a pay-per-view, so it's not really the same thing, but Rebellion was the best show that I watched. TV show wise, I'd probably say NXT. Yeah.
Okay. Vince.
Personally, I kind of sat there juggling between the only two shows I watched, Raw or SmackDown. But I'm gonna lean towards SmackDown just because I thought from start to finish it was a well-flowed show and there was very little like lulls there, because you start things off with LA Knight versus AJ Styles, which was a great match. Afterwards, the next big segment is the tag title presentation. After that, you got the Fatal 4-Way tag match, which was fucking amazing. You also had everything Bloodline related. You had everything.
Vince.
Yes.
You don't need to run down the whole card. We still got to plug the show.
Fair enough.
I got you. Reek, favorite show?
I'm probably gonna go SmackDown too, just because I don't think there was anything on that I didn't like. There was a couple things on Raw that pissed me off. So, and NXT was like right underneath it. So,
I'm hung up between NXT and SmackDown. I think I'm going to give the edge to SmackDown just for the brutal beatdown that Kevin Owens got from Tama Tonga, coming out bleeding, and the whole bloodline stuff. It's kind of what I want the family to be when they turn heel. Like this is what I'm looking for in Tony and Stacks. This is what I want to see from them. Brutal,
they already kill
ruthless.
People.
They do kill people. Exactly. So I need more brutality from them.
You just want it on screen, is what you're saying.
Exactly. On screen brutality. So I'm gonna lean towards SmackDown on that. With that said, I want to thank everyone for joining us for this episode of Smackin' It Raw. Dan, bend over and plug yourself.
Yeah, you can follow me on social media. You got my podcast with Mo, the Wrestling Bros Pod. You can find us at Wrestling Bros Pod without the E. We just did the other night on Thursday our mock draft for next week's WWE draft. It took a couple of hours, but we did almost 95% of the roster. Me and him went over who we thought was going to go where, and then did that. It was fun. Get us ready for the draft. So you can check that out on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're on Twitter, and we're on Twitch.
There you go. I mentioned this last week, but like podcasts have different metrics of success. You know, Will is climbing the charts and doing a great job over there. My metric of success is how cool I think it is that a few people in the wrestling community have decided to create me on a game that I haven't even bought. Mo and Vince being two of those people. So I implore all of you guys to go to the WWE 2K24 Creation Suite and download all of the Matt Ritters and Matt Reapers that you can find and do a battle royal of all Matts and then send it to me, please. Will, speaking of you climbing the charts, let everyone know where they can watch you and find you and help you get even higher, because it is still 420. I don't know if 420 is over. Fuck.
It is 421. Damn. It's fine. It's always 420 somewhere, though. That's the most important thing to remember. Thank you for allowing me to be the honorary use of Creation World and Smackin' It Raw. If you're interested in my shenanigans elsewhere, you can check my link tree at the Will Gray. You'll find everything I do for Botched Bots and Cheer Shots, Rivet City Radio, and my day job writing for Last Word on Sports.
Reek.
Well, y'all can find me everywhere except Facebook at ReekHavoc24. You can find Young Kings Wrestling everywhere at YKWrestling.com. Links to all the platforms and the merch. And, of course, the Havoc Hour, where I talk sports and entertainment. on all streaming platforms, Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts. The video version's up on YouTube. All that content is out now.
All right, you wanna plug your advocate real quick since she was here and she can't plug herself?
Oh my God. The list of stuff she does, I would need like the actual
follow her
rundown.
on Twitter at KatieWrasslin13. Also, you can follow She Elite Showcase on Instagram. Go check out twitch.tv/She Elite Showcase, youtube.com/She Elite Showcase. They are live every Thursday, 5:30-ish p.m. Central, 6:30 Eastern. They just had a great show. Go check it out. Katie will be back next week with Smackin' It Raw and for Getting Off. So if you missed her, she'll be back. Vince.
Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SESVince. Link to in my bio takes you to the archives of what Straight Talk used to be. But if you want newer content, go ahead and subscribe. Turn notifications on for youtube.com/SESVince, where March Madness is still over there. The video version's up there. And I'm going to be having more content coming very soon. Now that the wedding's passed, content will be coming.
And as always, you guys can follow me at Matt Ritter. That's at MATTRIDDER on Twitter only for your wrestling content, at Getting Off for your horror content on Twitter and everywhere else on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Blue Sky at Smackin' It Raw. We get a little bit of everything. For Dr. Reek Baker, BBC, the dashing one, my favorite ginger, Bakley, my boy Will Gray, and the Pornhub Poppy. I am the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Matt Ritter, and this has been your #1 wrestling podcast on places where you can find people having sex on the internet.